right? Don't just train for the sake of it. Train for a certain specific goal. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is PT Philip. Today, I'm gonna try to do my best and help you out to figure out how to combine resistance training with running. Do you want to be strong, but also do you want to have the endurance and the ability to run, play your sport, or whatever it is? Today I'm going to try my best to help you out to figure out how to combine these two totally different worlds. But me, myself personally, I love both of these worlds, and for me, one cannot go without the other. So when it comes to combining resistance training and running, the first question is, how much training experience do you have? The more experienced you are, the better you will be able to juggle these two different worlds. If you don't have training experience, if your training experience is low, you're gonna crash and burn, my friend, all right? So you really need to take a careful approach when it comes to combining these two things. As I told you many times, training produces stress. We have a certain comfort zone, and when you do training, you get out of that comfort zone, all right? And just like yin and yang, opposite to training is recovery. That's why I always emphasize the importance of recovery. As a physical therapist, I need to do that. But that recovery brings you back into that comfort zone, and not only that, but it also expands that comfort zone. All right? So when you think about combining these two things, you need to think about how much stress are you producing to your body and how much recovery are you able to achieve. Resistance training and running, they require different energy systems, but they still require a lot of energy expenditure. So the real question is, how much training experience you have, how much stress are you producing, and how much time, focus, and energy are you putting in your recovery. The second thing is, you need to have a certain measurable, defined goal. All right? Don't just train for the sake of it. Train for a certain specific goal. And let me ask you, what is your goal? Are you training for a certain race? Are you training for a certain bodybuilding competition? Are you training for whatever it is? All right? If you have a goal, that means that you can prioritize one thing more than the other one. Also, another question that I would like to ask you is, do you have time to do two separate training sessions when it comes to resistance training and running, or do you have to combine them in one training session? When it comes to combining these two in one training session, you can do two. There are two scenarios you can do. The first one is that you run before your resistance training, and the second one is to run after resistance training. There's no right answer here, all right? Both are fine, and you can do both. There are cases for both. When it comes to running before resistance training, for some people it is easier because when they do resistance training, their muscles get pumped, and it feels really awkward for them to run with a pump on. On the other hand, for some people, they want to put more intensity to resistance training, so they do resistance training first and then run afterwards. So what is the best approach when you want to combine these two things? Well, this is gonna sound a little bit weird, but think about it and it will make sense. The goal is to do a least amount of work, but still achieve a certain result. All right, so your goal when trying to combine these two things is to do least amount of work, but still being able to achieve those goals, those milestones that you set for yourself. So the first thing is drop any junk volume that you are doing. Junk volume is basically when you do more that is needed, and that more that is needed, the amount of work that you do isn't giving you any results. All right, so when it comes to running, if you do a lot of volume, a lot of junk volume, you can reduce that volume. All right, that volume won't make or break your results. And the same thing as well with resistance training. Drop any junk volumes. All right, so forearm curls is not quite needed. All right. The second thing, you need to program in the recovery. Recovery is the key. If you have good recovery, you will be able to work out. So program in your recovery and everything that recovery carries with itself. All right. And the third thing, and this is something that I'm sharing from my own experience, when it comes to combining these two things, I like to prioritize intensity on resistance training and to prioritize volume on running. Why? Because in endurance sports in general, the more you do it, the more efficient you get at it, and then it's easier to add more volume. But when it comes to resistance training, if you really want to push yourself, you need to crank up the intensity. So my final piece of advice I would give to you is prioritize intensity on resistance training and prioritize volume on running. Done.